do women still marry for love or they marry for money? And 2, do we have relationships or we have situationships? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, yes, welcome to a brand new episode on Sense No Dey Ground podcast with me, MCHAYMAKER. Yes, MC Haymaker, and I've got you covered. Alright, make sure to follow us on all podcast platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Podbean, anywhere that is a podcast platform. Just look for us. You are going to get us. Okay. You can also follow us on social media, MC Haymaker on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You're going to get me the All Sense No Dey Ground podcast on Instagram, also on TikTok, and then yes, on Twitter or X, currently X. You'll get us there as well. Okay, welcome back. So yes, I told you before, we are asking the question, do women still marry for love or they marry for money? Okay, or do we still have relationships or we have situationships? These are the 2 questions that we are going to deal with today right here on Sense No Dey Ground podcast. All right, so here's the thing. That is the backstory, okay? Right before Val's Day, there was a program on 3FM hosted by AJ Sapon and Giovanni Caleb, okay? Now, there was this woman on, let's call her Miss O or Mrs. O because that was the name they gave her in quote. All right, Mrs. O actually sent a message that the ex promised to take her back at the point that she was leaving him, okay? She promised that he is going to take her back. But here is the thing as well. What caused the breakup or what caused them to break off is the guy didn't have enough money or the guy was not rich, okay? And she started seeing somebody else, okay? So Mr. A didn't have money, but Mr. B had money. That's the new person. And she started rolling with Mr. B as well. So she takes money from Mr. B, brings it to Mr. A, or use it for things for Mr. A without Mr. A knowing about it. All right. At the end of the day, at some point, Mr. A got to find out that there is a Mr. B, and there's been that connection where the money is flowing. Yes, there's a money laundering system going on here and there. And obviously, she's telling Mr. B that I love you and telling Mr. A that I love you. These are the things that were happening. Okay, so Mr. A says, no, I can't do it again. You have to choose between myself and Mr. B. All right. In that case, it is between love and money. The lady sat down, did her analysis and chose Mr. B because Mr. B had money. Mr. B is going to give her the comfort. Mr. B is going to give her what she needs. Money is in the house. Married Mr. B. But she went ahead to say that Mr. A promised that when she's leaving the relation or when she's ready or at any point that she's coming back, he will be ready to take her back. Sounds interesting, isn't it? Maybe it was a statement of a heartbroken person not wanting her to go, but she still went ahead, married Mr. B, and they are about 2 years getting to 3 years in their relationship. Now here's the twist. Mrs. O is now seeking divorce from Mr. B. Why? Because she doesn't feel welcome in the marriage again. She doesn't feel the connection. She doesn't feel that comfort or that, whatever it is that she terms it, she's not feeling it as she was feeling with Mr. A. That is love. Okay, so then that is a win for love. She is not feeling it. Because of that, she brought a case to 3FM for them to try and reach out to Mr. A to accept her. Okay, but here's the thing. She's not done with her divorce. She is still in the process of divorcing Mr. B. That's the thing, all right? So then they call Mr. A on the phone and Mr. A says, hell no. Who in his right mind will take you after you leave him because he was poor or because he was hustling? Now you want to come back. Go back to Mr. B. That is where the money is. As a matter of fact, I don't have money. I am still hustling. So there is no chance for us. Please stay in your lane. Let me stay in my lane. Boom. Mrs. O is stuck in the middle now. Then she was asked the question, how long have you been in the relationship with Mr. B? It says about 2 years. Were you leaving Mr. B on the premise that Mr. A is going to take you back. And that was the truth. So she's not even done with her divorce. And the sad part is, she went ahead to say Mr. B does not even know that, or that has no idea why she is leaving him. So Mr. B is battling divorce at the moment, but has no idea why he is going for it, or he is having a divorce, because the lady is asking for it. Mr. B is sad. Mr. B is also heartbroken. So there's this one woman who broke somebody's heart because of money, and now leaving the money man, go back to one that didn't have money because of the love, because of the comfort, because of his comforting presence. It's a oh boy. That is a confused woman right there. So the question we come back to is, in this modern era, in this 21st century, in this era of woke generation Gen Z, are they marrying for money or they are marrying for love? And do you agree to what the guy said, Mr. A said, not accepting to come back? I totally agree with Mr. A. All right, I do totally agree with Mr. A. And Mr. B at this point looks like Mr. B loves her too, which is why he is not asking for divorce. But she says she's not feeling okay in the marriage at this point. So not because Mr. B has done something serious to her, or Mr. B has beaten her or is maltreating her. No, there's nothing like that. But she's just not feeling okay because she's not feeling the vibe that she had with Mr. A after 2 years of marriage. The sad part is, she said she can't stop thinking about Mr. A ever since. She's been thinking about Mr. A ever since, but nothing stopped her from getting married to Mr. B. All right. So are we marrying for love, or we are marrying for money, or it's a bit of both? It's actually a bit of both, and it makes sense if you say both. But if you are marrying for money, over to you. I can't answer this one. Over to you. Okay. Now the next question that I'm going to ask is it relationship or a situationship? That is the next question that we are looking at as well. Okay. Because in my defense, or if I am analyzing this thing, I think she is more of a situationship person, or a lot of people are doing that now. They are with you in the moment because they feel okay. Some things are normal, some things check out. The very moment those things do not check out, not because you've done anything wrong, but because they feel it's not checking out, they just leave you there to go to the next person to go and check those boxes. So they end up hopping from one person to the other. They go this way, they are not feeling the vibe as they felt initially, then they come back to you. So there's always a backup. You are always being used as a backup at some point in time. That is what a lot of women are doing. A lot of them. And it's more about confusion. They are confused and do not know what to do. So they stay with you because of one or two things. Okay, it might not be anything physical, it might be something very trivial. But as time goes on, they change because they feel they are not getting it from you. Or is it, as men as we are, we grow over time? Okay, so as time goes on, you get to mature, you get to evolve. But some people get stuck in the past. They do not want to grow. That is what some people do. They don't want to grow. So because you are, going a step further, or you are doing no, they don't want that. It has to be the exact same thing every time. If you can't give me that, boom, they move on to the next person, and they will cheat on you. Plain and simple. They get to cheat on you easily. All right. So back to the questions: do we marry for love or for money, or do we have relationships now, or we have situationships? These are the questions. Over to you. I'll be very happy if you respond in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe as well, because it is deadly out there. The game of marriage has become deadly, and it is very, very interesting and intriguing. But we are here, Sense No Degram Podcast, every time to bring you the best.